Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and it's Gizmo Sunday. Listen, I dropped like $50 or so on this UA bundle that was available last month and may still be. Of course, I know Black Friday is coming up and you're thinking about how to spend your money. I've never had any UA plugins before, and so I thought I'd try these out. I wrote a little bumpy techno track using only their synthesizer and all these delightful plugins that are available. And then I was curious, how does it sound on piano? How does it sound on strings? Well, let's dive in and see. All right, here's my little track. I've got a kick bass from the synthesizer. I've got an arpeggiated pad and snare, all from the UA Polymax. You were very tolerant. I'm going to close all of these windows and we'll just build it up. We'll talk about each track and then we'll listen to how all this stuff sounds on the individual elements. So here's my kick bass, and the kick bass is a simple sort of like 808 bass. I'm sending it into this EQ and then into a compressor. Well, it's hitting pretty hard in a great way. Listen to what happens when I take off the EQ. I'm going to bring it back. These Pultec EQs have a wonderful power, especially on bass sounds. And as you can see, I'm hammering the LA2A tube compressor. I'm still getting a click, which is great, but it's taming the sustain, which I really needed. Listen to this arpeggiated pad. That'll be next. Okay, close all these. We'll go back to square one. Now again, the Polymax, which has its own little arpeggiator in it right here. And I'm then sending it to the Galaxy Tape Echo. I owned one of these back in the day. We can put this on the list of things I wish that I hadn't sold. Into the EQ and then out to the leveling. I'm not using the limiter. I'm just hitting it with as a compressor. So here we go. The tape echo is doing a lot of work for me. I'm going to take it off. I will say I'm pretty happy with this synthesizer. With a little bit of FM, the sound can get nice and nasty. The EQ's helping things spread out a bit. You know, I've got a dip at 200, a fairly good size when I'm pushing the highs a bit. I'm pushing 700. Actually, probably should be pushed at 5. Yeah, that's actually better. Listen to the difference. And again, just hitting the compressor just a bit, just to even things out. I got to say, the Galaxy Tape Echo sounds very, very good. Let's go on to my snare. I'm going to use the word loosely track. It's a snappy little snare using the noise source with a little bit of FM for a lot, some good amount of grit. So the filters are pretty good on this thing. I'm using a high pass filter. Let's make it very small. Snappy. And maybe more body. It's a little bit too much body. You can actually hear the low oscillator. All right, come back here. Now I'm going into the Century Tube channel strip, and I love this tube channel strip. I'm not hitting the leveler very hard, but just a bit. We hit it a little bit harder. You can hear a little more growl. And then I'm heading over to the UAD Pure Plate Reverb, and the plate reverb's quite nice. Let's turn it up so we can really hear it. The balance a little bit off to the right. I'm loving this stuff. Now, I suppose I should have mentioned that on my output channel, I'm running the UAD Oxide tape recorder into a sort of a simple leveler, and that works pretty well all in all. Altogether, you see what's happening. just about 3 dB of limiting. I'm using it as a limiter, and I'm hitting the tape deck just to give it a little saturation. A lot of fun, right? Listen, here's what I wondered. How is this going to sound on, normal, instruments like piano or string? So here's a little string part. It's just a single ensemble string. And what I've got going on with this is the EQ to sort of widen it a bit, a little more lows, a little more highs, gut it a bit in the middle, and then just a bit of compression. I'm going to turn them off to begin and then turn them on. So this is just as written. Here comes the EQ. That opens things out. I get a lot of nice air that way. In fact, we could probably have a little more. And then let's hit it with the leveler. It's going to be a little bit louder. But it does increase the saturation in a good way. Beautiful. And that's just Spitfire chamber strings. Well, let's go on. I was curious, what's this going to be like on piano? And really all I've got going on, aside from my output bus for the piano, is this EQ. And again, it's the same trick where I'm just adding a little smile, as we say in the EQ world. So and it really does help the sound of this piano tech voice. I think that the tape saturation in the output bus is also doing me some favors too. Well, it's an easy and inexpensive way to get into the UA world. And this lines up very nicely with some of my other plugins. I'm happy with it. I've already used that tube channel strip on a bunch of work over the course of the past month or so. And I'll be experimenting with all this stuff further. The LA2A is part of a sort of a little gifty element that comes in a bunch of their other bundles. And of course, like I said, with Black Friday coming up, you'll be thinking about how you want to spend your gear money. Don't spend it all in one place. Remember, the best investment you can make is between your ears. So learn more music, guys. I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe, ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos, and I'll see you next time.